Yo, bro, you want to hop on the game tonight?
Nah, I got plans with my girlfriend.
Dude, really?
Yeah. All right,
All right, man.
see you.
See you later.
Yo, you actually want to hop on the game with me?
Yeah, bro, let's go.
All right.
Growing up, I had a good childhood. It wasn't necessarily bad, but my father suffered from alcoholism. So I was lucky enough that he wasn't physically abusive, but there are other people who have abusive parents. My dad would just get very vocal. He would just pass out on the couch. He would yell at me for a lot of really small things that he didn't need to raise his voice about, and it would cause a lot of problems. His alcoholism. When I was really young, he had lost his job because he called off too many days because he was just drunk, and so that caused more pressure on my mom. She would have to get more jobs. I've been on and off with a therapist for about 2 years now. At the end of my 8th grade year, my parents separated, and I went and I lived with my grandparents for almost a year. Over the last 2 years, I've had quite a lot of different experiences with thoughts of self-harm or suicide. In my earlier stages of my depression back in 2023, when I was dealing with my parents' divorce, I had a lot of thoughts of just self-harm, not necessarily suicide, but cutting and just isolating myself in a room and, cutting my arm or my hand and getting a Band-Aid and just covering it up. Obviously, that's not something you should do. In my headspace, I thought, if I cut myself, I can focus on that pain instead of the mental pain that I was struggling with, the pain that I was feeling in my heart and in my mind. And that really wouldn't help. I was able to stop myself. I never went through with it. And once again, as soon as I had those thoughts, I was fortunate enough and I was able to talk to my mom. I told her, hey, I'm having these thoughts. Can you help me? And so she would stick with me for a while. We would go out in the living room, watch a movie, and she would help me get my mind off of it. She would order food or get us ice cream. I always struggled with opening up. It's something that is very hard for a lot of people. Being vulnerable, telling someone about the way that you're feeling when you feel like you might be judged, or if you feel like they're not gonna understand you, they might yell at you, just get over it, you'll be fine. That's not something that you want to hear. That's something that you're gonna fear happening, and you just want someone to comfort and try to listen and understand where you're coming from. And that it's kind of rare nowadays, and it's sad to see because it's something that's really important. As of recently, on November 2nd, 2024, we found out he passed in his sleep. I went home and my mom was at home. She had one of her friends over and she was cutting her hair. And then my mom got a call from my uncle. Her hands were full, so I picked up the phone, and as soon as I picked up the phone, I could tell something was wrong because my uncle was crying. He wasn't really responding to my questions. I asked him what was wrong. Is he okay? He just told me if he could talk to my mom. So I handed the phone over and I'm standing in the kitchen and I'm just wondering what the heck is wrong. My mom's friend is like, okay, call 911. She calls 911 and I still have no clue what's going on. And I didn't fully realize what was happening until my mom's friend said the address of my dad. I broke down and I was scared. I didn't know what was going on. And so, turns out he died in his sleep on the couch. I don't even fully know what he passed from. All we know from like an early autopsy was that his heart was enlarged, but it was probably something alcohol related. And that was really hard. It was very shattering to hear my dad's address being named out to the 911 operator as I realized that my dad was in trouble. I didn't know if he was alive or not, and it took about like an hour and a half until my uncle finally called back, and it was the paramedic or whatever that arrived on the scene, and they said, yeah, he passed.
No, we ain't giving no hope. I ain't Romeo and I'll hold. Making a party, chocolate Barbie waiting on me for you.
Look at this face. I know the years are showing. Look at this life. I still don't know where it's going.
I was lucky enough to text him about a month before, and I told him I forgave him for all this stuff he did. I still didn't necessarily like him, but I forgave what he did, and I didn't necessarily get to tell him I loved him still, but I was fortunate enough to be able to forgive him. I was able to not be on a bad note, you know, when he passed. So I was really lucky with that. Emotionally, everything that's going on in my life has affected me quite a substantial amount. There's many times where I feel depressed. I feel kind of empty or numb and just kind of sad for no reason. But in other ways, it's affected me because I feel like I can't get along with kids my age, with the things that I've struggled with in my life. I feel like I've had to grow and mature faster than others. And so that kind of creates a bit of a disconnection for me when I'm trying to get to know someone. And that can be very annoying because I feel lonely at times. I'm here talking about all of this because I want to raise awareness about mental health, as it's something I struggle with, and it's something I've struggled with for almost 3 years now. And you know, it's a hard thing and it really affects a lot of people. There's just so much that can affect you mentally that will just change your attitude, the way you talk to people, the way that you act, your mood, your hunger. You know, there is a lot of things that, you know, get affected by it. And I feel like some people kind of forget that it's a really big thing. And it's something that people should care and think more about.